Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. We've just hit record, click the button, do the thing. Welcome to Mo Money, Mo Problems, how to supercharge your income without trading more time for money, even if you're feeling burnt out and overwhelmed. All right. So big claims there, I understand. You know, it was really interesting. I was talking with my partner a few weeks ago, and I was like, yes, and it's called Mo Money, Mo Problems. And it's like, you know, like that song from like some of us probably remember. I feel like most of us are my age and older that are here. I think most of us. Jess, I think you're younger. I don't know about anybody else. But yes, we all remember the song. And then my partner's like, but that means mo money is in like, is that like no money, no problems? So if you have money, you have problems. And I was like, don't you fuck with this. Like, I swear to God, it's already called that. I fucking love it. Like, we're not changing it, you know? And no, that's not what it means. It's like, you know, that we want to make money and also not have problems. That's what we're going with, all right? So who knows? I love that song, though. It's very cool. So as we said, the chat box is open. This is always an interactive process. So please, you know, jump in, comment, ask questions. We should be okay today. One for time, you know, we should be here for about an hour and a half, I would say. And the second thing is that most of you know avocado is the safe word. So if I get too excited, you can avocado me, like just type avocado into the chat box. So I know that I'm like, okay, calm down, like bring it back down a bit. All righty. So let us jump in. And as I said, yeah, please ask questions and you know, anything throughout. There will also be time for them at the end. So everyone, we are here, you know, today to talk about a little bit about the death of one-on-one, right? And now I say this kind of playfully, okay? You know, we're not, like, if you have a business that has, you know, one-on-one as part of your business model, let's not blow it up just yet. That's okay, you know, I want you to know that. But I just want us to open up our vision to the potential for different business models. Now, what I want to say in the front end, I had a really interesting conversation with one of my clients yesterday, you know, and we were talking about the idea that there are many ways to skin a cat, okay? There are many ways to skin a cat. I really hate that saying. I say it all the time. There are many ways to skin a cat. And what that means is there are no cookie cutters here, okay? Like what is going to be amazing and work for one person, we can pivot and adapt and make, you know, it work in a different way for someone else based on what your life looks like, based on what's going on, what you love, what you don't love, you know, all those kinds of things. So when we talk today, I want you to know that I am very specifically talking about a particular business model. Alrighty. And so this is, if you ask me, one of the better business models out there for coaches. And the reasons we're actually going to talk about, because, you know, because it's easier to scale and grow, because it's more money in less time, because, you know, all these different reasons. I actually know that there is a slide in here that will talk about those things. So I will leave it to then. It doesn't mean that, like, if you love working with one-on-one clients, I'm not going to take that away from you. We're not here to do that. That's all right. Or we can create a business model that is hybrid or. All right. But I want to give you guys a really clear picture, you know, as I said, to a specific type of business model that for coaches is highly scalable and growth oriented. All right. And I'm going to give you the reasons as to why. So what I want you to do today is, like any kind of learning experience, take on the juiciness, take on the bits that you're like, fuck yes, that actually really makes a lot of sense, or oh my God, that gets me excited, or I really love this piece, but I'm not too sure about that bit. All right, can we keep, you know, like a bit of an open mind, no cookie cutters, and understand that whatever is going on for you, your business, your life, you know, when we're working with anyone, like when I'm working with anyone in my VIP programs, we always look at those three things. You, your business, you know, you, your business, your tribe, you, your business, your life, all right, is really, really important. So let us jump in. So why now? You know, it's so interesting, like, even though we're sort of, you know, we're out of all the, like, hello, if you're watching this back, you know, off into the future. But, you know, we're still kind of coming out of the, you know, the last couple of years, the craziness, you know, the lockdowns, the resilience of business, the non-resilience of business and things like that. So why now? Well, look, it's because we're living in duality. And what that means is that there has been a lot of uncertainty, you know, and a lot of upheaval and a lot of forced into pivoting and holding it together, you know, by I don't even know, the seams of our pants. Is that a saying? I don't even know. You know, but it's that kind of a thing, right? There has been so much uncertainty, craziness. But also in times of uncertainty and craziness comes a lot of opportunity, you know, for those who choose to stand up and leave, for those who are more like open-minded versus fixed, you know, a fixed mindset and that kind of thing. There's an amazing saying that what is it? That change is inevitable. It's those who adapt fastest that survive. And I believe that's by Darwin, right? So we live in this duality, and the duality is the uncertainty, the craziness, you know, what we've all just collectively been through. But at the same time, there being like no time like the present. We have more power to transform lives that as coaches across multiple coaching industries, because I know a lot of you, you know, do different things, right? That now more than ever, you know, what is it? It's something like the coaching industry. And to be honest with you, I don't believe that this includes fitness. So if we threw fitness in there, right, the coaching industry is believed to be a $20 billion industry this year alone. All right, $20 billion industry. And as I said, if we added fitness in there as well, you know, because I know obviously a lot of you are fitness trainers, right? But I know that statistic is based on, you know, other forms of coaching and stuff like that. How crazy is that? $20 billion. So people are out there looking for connection. They're looking for community. They're looking for certainty in uncertain times. They're looking for opportunity and, you know, all those sorts of different things. So if we can become like an amazing place, inclusive, you know, like all coaching industries, you know, not just the statistic one, but if we can become that amazing place with the tools that we have, right? And we might all be from different modalities, but you all have a toolkit, right? And we can tap into, yes, the income, but also the impact. And I don't know many coaches out there, and they would definitely not be within integrity if they were coaching and they weren't in it for the impact and the service and all of those different bits and pieces. All right, that is a given. You know, why would we do what we do if we're not here to transform lives? That would make no sense to me whatsoever. All right, so why this? Why are we talking about this particular business model today? To give you an example, you know, of how you can scale and grow to increase your impact and income in a way that is more money in less time. It doesn't mean you want to be a millionaire. Maybe you do want to be a millionaire. That is all totally cool. Wherever you sit, you know, what you probably do want is more freedom of lifestyle, financial freedom, you know, for all the freedoms, freedom of lifestyle, freedom of location, freedom of, you know, freedom of income. Did I say finances? Yes. You know, all of that freedom to be able to take a holiday or take a few holidays, you know, like, I remember the difference in, you know, many years ago, you know, definitely, you know, years ago, you know, before this iteration of my business, you know, and struggling and things like that. And then, you know, even just this morning, like I got like a notification that in July or August, there's going to be a workshop. It'll be happening in Cairns that I definitely want to go to. And I just get to go, okay, cool. You know, because one, my business can come with me if I need it to. Two, I can take time off from my business if I need to, which means my business is future-proofed because it doesn't solely rely on me having to be in it all of the time, you know, that I have an amazing community, you know, who support one another. And also that, you know, the financial freedom and the location freedom and the lifestyle freedom is there. All right. Now, why this for you? Because you want to take charge of your income. You know, you want to be able to take holidays. You want to be able to increase your earning potential. And that is what more money in less time is. Yes, more money, less time sounds like this fancy, you know, thing that we say. It's very businessy and very coachy and very like shiny, but it's a real thing. Oh, what did I hear? I heard the best analogy. Oh, I'm not going to remember it. Hopefully it comes back to me. Give me 1 second. La, la, la. I'm going to have to literally go over everything that I was watching last night, like to now remember what the saying was. Anyway, it nearly floated back in there. It's fine. I'm just an insane person. More money, less time. Let's just go there. You know, you've got to believe that you are worthy of more money in less time. You probably do not have a financial problem. You may, you know, your business model may need a bit of looking at, and you may need some direction and some hand holding. And, you know, today is a day for that. Absolutely. But potentially what you may also have is a belief problem, you know, that this can happen to you, that this gets to be your life as well, that you can make X amount of dollars. I was talking to a coach recently. Her charge is $20,000 an hour. $20,000 an hour, you guys, right? Do you think she has low belief in her skill set, or do you think she has high belief in her skill set? Right? Like, hi, absolutely. And fine, inclusive of me, I'm not sure I'm ready to charge $20,000 an hour either, but that doesn't mean that I can't hold myself and you guys can't hold yourself in an amount of worthiness to say, actually, you know what? I do get to go after my dreams. This is possible for me, and I can find a way that has me not burnt out, overwhelmed, not taking holidays, having, your clients be like succubuses on your existence and we want to upgrade everything. All right. So why else this? Why are we talking about, a style of business today? Well, one-on-one, you can do one-on-one in your business, but it needs to be held at the highest rate, in terms of your business and dollars and stuff like that, right? Because, you only have a certain amount of hours in the day. So if you will hit an income ceiling, you will hit a time ceiling, you will hit an energy ceiling if you keep trading one-on-one time for money. And some of you are probably here that are doing that right now, that feel like you've capped your income, but you still somehow need more, which is totally fine. You're allowed to want for more. You've capped your energy, because you're feeling burnout and overwhelmed. You can't even fathom bringing on another client right now because you're feeling so exhausted, right? And you're having an energy ceiling as well for exactly that reason too, that you're like, fuck, I want to go on a holiday. I want to spend more time with my family. I want to do all of these things, and so, there's a flux, in between what's happening, what you are wanting for, right? And what is actually happening in your reality right now. Okay. So I want to give you an example of how we can adapt something, and as I said, many ways to skin a cat, but this is an example today of how you can adapt to be able to scale and grow your business. All right, beyond anything you thought was ever possible. All righty. So why you? You're probably sick of trading one-on-one time for money and have no time left in the day. Why you? Because you want to secure your wealth and stop stressing about money all the time. Doesn't it get boring? Like, who gets bored of fucking stressing about money all the time? Like, don't you want there to just be like a cash reserve sitting there, where you go, you know what, I'm just going to tap into that. We're going to go on a holiday. We're doing this, we're doing that. You don't have to look at your card every time you're charging for petrol. You're not maxing out on credit, like all of that kind of stuff, right? It gets exhausting and boring as well. Excuse me. So, there is a better way, but you're just not sure, where to start or how to do that or what that could look like, or, there is a bit of a knack to it. That's fine. But like all amazing skills that you have ever learned in your lifetime, you can learn how to scale and grow your business as well. And you can be handheld along the way. All right. So why you? You're probably hustling for low dollar clients. All right. Who's sick of hustling for low dollar clients? All righty. Always, and I don't know what the BL word is. Let me move the chat box. Always blowing things up. Oh my God. Ooh. I don't know what I've just pressed. Hang on. I hope you're all still there. Yes, you are. Sorry, my screen just took over wildly. That was insane. Let me open the chat box again. Oh, that's weird. There we go. Okay. I blew it up and it was full screen, and then now it's gone back to just this little corner piece. Let's not touch anything on this computer again. Awesome. Like, I see this a lot, like with clients and also me as well. I love, we were talking about this yesterday again, actually, in one of my coaching programs, people who love certainty and people who love variety, and we can love both of them in different areas of our life, but in business, look, business loves an amount of certainty. Like to scale and grow a business, you have to have like some solid foundations, like a scalable, business model and idea, like a potential niche that you're working with, a program that you're, funneling people back to, that kind of a thing. We want to have an amount of certainty there. But who out there loves creation energy? I fucking love creation energy. I love variety and difference and change and intuition and showing up and free flow and all of that sort of stuff. So I could never be so rigid, you know, like and be like, this is the thing that I'm doing and this is how it looks, you know, and it be like that, right? So what we do, we tap into you, the human, what you like, you know, and what that feels like in your existence, your life. And then we put those best bits of what you love and you're super passionate about into a business model. All right. Because the business and money, you know, money is fluid, but money also likes, you know, security. Money likes, you know, stability and things like that as well. All right. So we don't want to be blowing it up all the time. We don't want to be reinventing the wheel all the time, because that just means we're never giving anything a good run or a good go, or learning lessons along the way, then pivoting and adapting, you know, and getting better and better, like 1% each time. We're like, no, that didn't work because I put that piece of marketing out there once, you know, at 12 o'clock at, you know, night or whatever, and nobody commented. So obviously it's a complete failure. It's like, okay, like, you know, really, is that the data? I don't know. All right, why you? You've probably got like some passion, some brains that you want to turn into a big idea and be able to help people with that. All right. And also why you? Because look, as I said before, you know, you may have a business model problem, because not all business models are made the same. Not all business models are made to scale and grow, honestly, easily. Like not all of them are. You know, again, so many business models will have you hustling for low dollar clients, and it's exhausting, you know, and there are clients all the way along the pricing spectrum, billions of people, right? And so there are actually equal amounts of people, you know, when I hear, oh, my clients just won't pay that, you know, there are other clients that aren't even looking at you because your dollars are so low. They're like, that's not even in my vision. Like, no, you know, because there are equal amounts of people all the way along the spectrum. And as you actually work up the spectrum, you know, clients actually become a little bit easier because they're more self-responsible. They more highly prioritize, you know, whatever, you know, form of coaching it is that you're doing. They want to invest in themselves, time, energy, and dollars. Right? The clients that are often down here, we love them and there's absolutely a market for them. However, if they've got you hustling to get them over the line, you know, like, whereas we want the people who are like, yes, fuck yes, I so want to do this. I'm pumped. I'm ready. Like, I'm highly prioritizing this. I respect your time and energy, you know, that kind of a thing. All right. So you may have a business model problem. All right, as we said, but as I said as well, you know, you may have a worthiness one too. You know, belief in yourself that you don't need another fucking qualification, to, you know, that you're maybe looking externally all the time in too many comparisons, you know, and actually we just need to build your belief by, you know, by going out there and actually following a system that is, you know, that is there to scale and grow. All righty. And why me? Because one, I'm a snot. So you're all here because I'm a snotty human. Hang on, let's do that. Whoa. Look, I'm a master of my own time for the most part. You know, I'll put a little caveat in there. You know, I very much, again, I love both, you know, an amount of structure and stability, and, you know, and I like to know what I'm up to and organization and things like that. But I also love fluidity. I love that tomorrow I've got to go to the physio because my ankle's fucked. If you haven't seen that yet, oh my God, the bruising now, you know, and then I'm probably going to take the afternoon off and get my nails done. You know, and meanwhile, while I'm getting my nails done, I'm probably going to be messaging some clients and having some chats with them and stuff like that. But I get to just free flow my week, you know, in a way that pleases me. All right. And so we want that for you too. You want to be able to go, you know, a conference just came up. I'm going to, you know, fly to wherever. And because that lights me up. And look, that might light me up. If that doesn't light you up, cool. What do you want? Why do we need to buy back your time, your energy, your, you know, your finances, all those things? All right. So why me? Look, I'm a master at program creation. You know, I've been in and around business for a long time, like multi-million-dollar businesses. I was running multi-million-dollar businesses when I was like 20, I think 19 or 20, I was already running multi-million-dollar businesses, you know, and so I have a vast array of experience across time and space. And that's why I want to sit here and remind you that, look, there isn't one size fits all, you know, but there are definitely, you know, things that are scalable, things that are not. All right. And so we do want to look at what is going to light you up, what it has you passion filled, what type of coaching do you do, what kind of business model, are you going to have multiple arms to your business? How do we make your life easier in a way that lights you up, basically? All right. I am a master at soul-led approach. So I believe that business and life, strategy and soul, action and alignment, impact and income, we play both sides here. All right. Because if something's happening in your life, then it's probably showing up in your business. And if something's happening in your business, then it's probably showing up in your life. All right. So we want to make sure that, we're taking into consideration all of those things. Like I remember a few years ago, and I got called out by one of my own mentors. Some of you know this, who was like, Sky, you're trying to do business from a very business, masculine or brain thinky and, like teaching things like from that kind of perspective. And she's like, and you're this whole other fucking human being, in all of your sparkle and rainbow and all the different things that you are. And you believe that there is this entire other like energy frequency, universe that is out there. And she's like, and you're teaching from this tiny little piece of like business. And she's like, no wonder you're feeling misaligned. She's like, you've got to bring all the pieces back together. And I was like, fuck, and I had to get brave. I had to put my big girl pants on and go, you know what? Like, hell yes to that. Like, I'm going to go out there. And this was before, soul-led business. Soul-led business is very, popular these days. Right? Like, absolutely. It's amazing to see it out there so much. And maybe years ago, it wasn't in my vision, but I believe, many years ago, it just was not spoken about at the level that it is now. Right. And so it was a really big move, to take a step out there and say, hey, we're going to work strategically in your business, behaviorally on your mind and your unconscious mind and how you're showing up and the patterns and your traumas and triggers and all the different amazing things. And we're going to work from a universal perspective as well. Because I believe all those three things, that we need to work from all those three layers. And to negate one of them, like, it's like the equation just wouldn't work. If we take out the strategy, the business isn't going to work. If we take out you having patterns or fear of failure, fear of success, or wanting to hide in your business, or if we don't work on those things, are we going to have a successful business? Probably not. And if we don't understand that we are a universal being here for a full human experience, and that frequency and alignment and all sorts of other things have the potential to play in, and it's okay if you don't fully believe that right now, that's okay, I will allow that. But I think those three things need to work within alignment. Alrighty. And I am also somebody, why me? Because I am also somebody who understands business across time and space and how to highly monetize something, an idea, a passion, a desire, whatever it might be, for you in your life, because your desires are going to be different to mine, and that's okay too. We want to build you your dream existence. All righty. Excuse me. So I want to point this out. I've been thinking about this all week. Millionaires make $1 million moves. All right. And it's really interesting. I know I triggered somebody the other day who was like, maybe that's not how much money I want to make. And I'm like, that's okay. Like, whatever it is. All right. Like, whatever it is for you. Millionaires make $1 million moves, billionaires make $1 billion moves. So you might want to be a millionaire. I'm quite happy to be to be one. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with my worth. I'm comfortable with the frequency of money, but you might be like, I just want to make $100,000 to begin with. Okay, perfect. Or you might be trying to push to 200,000, or if I'm like, whatever it is, all righty. Or you might be just not sure right now. The premise of this saying is still correct. All right. Can we grasp that? That if you want to, and I saw another thing the other day, that had me thinking, and I've seen it before, right? Like, we as coaches expect our clients, we want our clients to invest in us. We want our clients to invest in the process, money, time, and energy. All right. Because commodities are greater than just money. All right. So if we expect our clients to invest time, energy, and money, into a process, where we're able to help them and transform their life, then we have to be in alignment and want to invest in ourselves as well. All right. because there is an integrity piece. If we're out there wanting them, you know, to invest, right, or to make big moves. And I actually saw this in another fashion as well this week, that I was like, how interesting too, and so true. That how can we, like, let's look at it from a different perspective. How can we expect our clients to be vulnerable, to show up, to take chances, to push outside of their comfort zones if we're not willing to do that ourselves? All right. And that includes being vulnerable. And it's been so interesting, you know, over the last few weeks, I've been unpacking this idea of authority, and I don't like that word. And I was unpacking why I don't like that word, because I came into contact with another coach who said something that I was kind of like, do I believe that? I don't think I believe that. Do I need to go think about that? I'm going to go think about that. So I've been thinking about it, right? This idea that, you know, as the teacher, you know, as the mentor, you know, you want to keep like an air of, you know, difference between you and your clients, and where, you know, where they're at and what they're going through, and, you know, whatever, you know, an amount of authority. And I was like, I don't know that I believe that, you know, or I don't know that I agree with that, right? And I was like, no, like, because I'm comfortable to be messy sometimes. I'm comfortable to be real. I'm comfortable to be fallible. I'm comfortable to show up in my vulnerability, because how can I ask, you know, my clients, who are obviously coaches as well, like, you know, and again, you know, transforming in lives and behaviorally and all the different levels, right? How could I expect anything different of them if I am not, you know, if I don't show up, you know, as my, you know, true self in all of my fallibility, you know, maybe not all of it, like most of it, I think, you know, like, and, you know, we joke, like, I've cried.
Recording in progress.
That's going, hang on, somebody is loud. Let me just mute you. Mute, everyone's having a chat. Hello, I can see a few more people are here now. You know, how can we expect that? All right. And so, you know, if we want our clients to invest in us, then we have to invest in ourselves. All right. Millionaires make $1 million moves. Okay. And so if you are wanting to get to whatever your next impact level is, or financial level, all right, then you need to be giving of yourself as well. Either way, impact or income. All right. You know, you need to invest in yourself, but also, like, you need to be able to, you know, be vulnerable, step outside of your comfort zones, you know, all that kind of stuff, you know, not hide. That's a big one, you guys, right? Like, I know, you know, sometimes we struggle with showing up on things like social media, you know, but again, it's another edge, isn't it? How can we expect our clients to step outside of their edges, or not hide in their life, or stand up and be seen, and all those different things, if we're, you know, if we're not kind of doing the same and standing up as well? Let me just see videos. All righty. So what I want to ask you today is, what would an additional 100K per year mean to your life? Right? What would an additional 100K mean to you in your life right now? What would that mean? What would you do with that? Would you pay off a whole bunch of debt? Would you just be out of debt at that point? You know, would you take your family on holidays? Would you get better renovations through your house? Would you just take some fucking time off? You know, like, to just plod about. I feel like I need that as well. You know, we're not on a holiday, just plod about, just plod, you know, lay sideways, watch some Netflix. Trinity, just enjoy your bloody time right now. Trinity is like at home. Watch more Netflix, Trinity. You know, what would it look like? Because it's different for all of us, and that's okay. Well, you know, would you travel to another country to go in some kind of a race that you want to be in? Or would you, you know, invest in a bricks and mortar facility? Or would you, you know, put some money aside for your retirement? What would you do with an additional $100,000? Now, as part of this, you know, masterclass today, I haven't written up the maths for you. All righty. Like, we'll talk to you later, Susan. You know, sometimes, you know, I put the maths up here and I show you, you know, like how easy it actually is, you know, when charging appropriate amounts, and not exorbitant, blown out of the water amounts or anything like that, but actually valuing your time for money. You know, $100,000. Like, one of my clients a couple of weeks ago, she was just like, I can't believe, she's like, I'm about to hit the 100K mark, you know, for the year. What month are we in? May. And she was like, I can't believe, like, and this was, she actually said she felt bad for saying this, but she was like, I can't believe that people think this is hard. All right. We think that, we have to struggle. We've got to work hard for our money. And it doesn't mean we don't work with integrity. Doesn't mean we don't show up for our tribe, but it does not have to be as hard and convoluted as our brain, and our fear would have us believe. All right. And that's why we're here today, to give you an example of how you can do it. All right. So today is the coach's 3-step financial success model. All right. As I said to you, this is one model. This is, if you ask me, this is, the cleanest of many models that are out there, but we can change and adapt, anything to suit you and your business and your life. All right. But I'm giving you a really good example today. So these are the 3 things that we're talking about as part of the 3-step financial success model. We're talking about signature programs. We're talking about MRR programs and what that is, which is monthly reoccurring revenue, which, as we're going to learn, is what we call stackable wealth. And that's what you guys want. You want stackable wealth, all right? And we're going to talk about event strategies as well, all right? And what they are and what that looks like and why these 3 things, as a business model, like all together. Can everybody else hear me? I think somebody just said you can't hear me. I think everyone else can hear me. Somebody say, yes, we can hear you. Ray, it's probably just you, my friend. I think. Let me know. Yes, we can hear you. Excellent. Thank you. I don't know. Turn me up, Ray. Take out the ear pods or whatever they are or something. I don't know. Unplug something. So we're talking about these 3 things, all right, you guys, and why these 3 simple things together create that stackable wealth, create you a business model that is, growth oriented and scalable, because not all business models are. They just simply aren't, or they'll have you hustling to do it. All right. So let's talk about a product suite for a second here. All right. Now, this is just a bit of an example, and this will come into play again a little bit later. But I wanted to talk about the idea that what we are learning today in terms of a business model is what we call a product suite. All right. And a product suite is kind of like a funnel. And I think I do have a diagram for you guys later. Let me just do this now. Let's just do this now. All righty. Ta-da. Here's my funnel. And so a product suite moves people from, from a particular thing or a particular level or wherever they're, up, and it moves them down into something else. And then it moves them maybe from there to something else. Now, the people that come in at the top end, are often our people devouring our free content, who maybe, follow our social media and stuff like that, who could just be watching in the background. Maybe they're not ready for change yet, but something about what it is that you're saying and doing is spiking an interest for them. It's all those kinds of people. We love them. The people who ghost you can be up here as well. We love them. All right. It's all good that they just hang out here for a while, because at some point in time, some of them are then going to drop down here. Some of them are going to go, something's going to happen in their life and they're going to go, oh my gosh, actually, I want this person's help. All right. The wind will blow differently, some kind of, universal alignment, something you say, some kind of change in their life, and they will go from being up here, devouring all of your free stuff. And then that, we love those people, you don't have to be resentful. You're like, oh my God, why don't they just sign up? Don't put that energy on it. All right. We are so lucky that I feel so lucky that anybody gives a shit what I have to say at any point in time. How fucking honored am I to have all of you here today? Bless you guys. Imagine if I was cursing you or something something like that. We don't want to do that. Right. And so at some point in time, they will then, come down the funnel, and they might join a program that you have. And it might run for X amount of time or something like that, whatever it is, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever. All right. And then some of the people that are here, they're going to enjoy that. All right. 3rd time lucky. Excellent. On and off and on and off. Ray, your IT. Have you switched it on and off again yet? Like, isn't that the answer?
Yeah, yes, I did. 3 times.
I actually, I'm going to mute you. I'm sorry. No, hello. I actually have a friend that she works in she's like an ads manager and stuff like that. I was so mean one day, not deliberately, but I was just like, I don't get it. All you do is click buttons. Like, I just totally diminished. And she's like, that's okay. All you do is like coach people. You make them feel shit about themselves, and then you make them feel better about themselves again. And I was like, wow, like, wow, thank God she's a friend and we were just playing, but I was like, wow. So I didn't mean to diminish what it is that you do, Ray. Like, you switch things on and off again. So anyway.
No offense taken.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not offended. So we drop people down here, right? And then what happens is some of these people are going to go here. This is a product suite. Okay, it's simple. Now, what we see is, too many businesses, are like this. Let me show you. Alrighty. What the fuck is this? Like, that's going on here. So we have a business, and then we go, oh my God, I'm going to have this arm to my business. And then I'm going to have this arm down here. And then I'm going to have this other thing over here. Then I'm going to have this thing, but then I didn't like that thing, so I'm just going to blow that up. And then I had this other thing that I put out once at midnight on a Wednesday, and it didn't work. So obviously that's never going to work for me. So I'm just going to cross that one out as well. But then I got really creative, and I thought of this other thing over here. This is the business model so many people are running with. And each time we're like, oh, this one's for this type of person, this one's for a different kind, this is something else. So we're just like, blowing things up and going in all kinds of different directions, like all of the time. We don't want that, you guys, and nothing is leading to anything else. So it's not stackable wealth, because you've got this thing, and then you got that thing, and then you got this other thing over here, and then you're having to, some people have to resell to the same clients, but the same product to the same clients and stuff like that. We don't want that. We want it to be able to, roll on and whatever. So which do you want? A clean business model that just has people filtering down and dropping down? Or do you want something like this, which honestly, so many of the coaches I know are blowing things up, trying something new, going in a different direction, trying something else. Like, if you haven't found something you love yet, maybe, but let's learn some lessons and let's stack upon that, and then, whatever, right? This is messy. This is messy business. Okay, we want this. So this is a product suite. All right, it goes from something like having a freebie offer, whatever that might look like, groups. We're going to talk about event strategy, group strategy, event strategy, masterclass strategy. What else is there? Summit strategy, blah, 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 blah. I'm missing one, challenge strategy, program strategy, that kind of a thing, right? To maybe having a chat with somebody, from a chat, like, in Messenger or whatever it might be, to a call to a program to an MRR. All right. And we don't force anybody into anything. It's just as they drop and filter down through, and their necessity, their need changes. This is a product suite. So I just wanted to show you guys that, so you have an understanding, of a clean type of business model. But I'm going to give you even more specificity for coaches, what that can potentially look like, as we said, from a signature program to an MRR program, and as well as some kind of events. So why am I talking about, this kind, as I throw it across the table, this kind of a business model? Why are we here talking about this? Because not all business models are made the same, as we already discussed. We want to be able to make more money in less time, serving more people, making a greater impact, having legacy, having a business that is future-proofed, which means it doesn't always rely on you being in it, 100% of the time, all of the time, doing all of the things. You of course, you're going to be burnt out and overwhelmed doing that. All right. Why this model? This is a simple way to understand, that is simple to understand. I was like, what does that sentence mean? Because this is simple to understand, isn't it? Filtering people through from one level to the next, which then equals stackable wealth. All right, stackable wealth, this way, right? So it's simple to understand. I'm going to explain it to you today. You get to walk away with this, and have, what all this means, what you get to do, what that could look like, all the rest of it. If it is simple to understand, it is simple to execute. All right. And if it is simple for you to understand, it is simple for you to explain, which then means it is simple for clients to understand as well. And so sometimes with this business model, it's clients, you're like, oh, and I've got this deal going on, but then if you like this other thing, but then if you also want this on your membership, but then if you got this other thing, but then you don't have to do that, but then every second Tuesday we do this other thing, like it's hard to explain. And so if it's hard to explain and there's so many different fucking bits that are going on with it, it's hard to execute. It's taking up too much of your brain space, so instead of doing 1, 2, 3 things really fucking well, you're doing 100 things poorly. All right. And also, it's hard for your clients to understand as well. And a confused customer never buys. So you want to be able to take them on a journey. All right. And that's why we say, a product suite, because a true product suite takes your clients on a journey. All right, where you're helping them at a level, and then you're helping them at a different level, and then anybody else who wants to go to another level, they can. All right, again, it's not about forcing anybody into anything. All right, why this model? Because it also builds know, like, and trustability. All right, because instead of having to sell to a whole bunch of different things and create all these, whatever, like, again, too convoluted, like you are creating, rapport and amazing relationships with key people, key clients, and you are actually able to truly affect them, transform their lives, which is what you want to do, right? Across time and space. Okay, because change and transformation, and a transformation journey, yes, it can happen in an instant. I do truly believe that, like people who get diagnosed with something and they're like, fuck, like, that is a catalyst for change. Absolutely. Change can happen in an instant. And there are particular types of modalities that also help people to, really clear out gunk in an instant. But, the majority of change actually happens across time. Okay. And even if we change in an instant, to embed that change, we still need to do it across time and space. So being able to support people in this fashion helps support them across time and space as well, which means they are going to have better outcomes, over the long run. All right. You are the solution. And look, there are no God complexes here, that there, it's okay if there are other solutions out there as well. I recently have been saying I had, I've had clients over the years who have, done this with me, and then they've gone on beautiful journeys and stuff like that. And I'm always so celebratory of them and of the journey we've had together. And that, that they're like, there's something else that I need right now. And then they go off, and that is all beautiful. And I love that for them. I will always celebrate them. I don't have such a God complex or connection, or is there nothing like loyalty anymore? Is that not a thing? Like all that kind of stuff. Like, no, they're on a beautiful change journey. And I should be, I feel honored to have ever been part of that journey to begin with. And what's amazing is, even in recent times, like in the last month, I've had 3, clients from over a year ago rejoin because they know that there's something that we do that is really fucking special. All right. And so being able to create those relationships with people, and have that beautiful, special, bond and whatever, it's so amazing when they come back and return. All righty. And so we want to be able to create a framework where that is possible as well. How awesome is that? All right. And as we said, stackable wealth creation. Stackable wealth creation. You are allowed to make impact and income. All right. You don't have to feel bad about that at all. So there is a saying that is sell them what they want, give them what they need. All right. Now, what did I want to say about this? Let me have a think. In the front end, you want to absolutely talk to people's desires, all right? And we want to talk to those desires at a deeper level. There is too much messaging out there, these days that is very much based around surface-based problems. And at the end of the day, the bigger the problem that you solve, the more you are able to charge, all right? And so here's the caveat, seems to be the word of the day. Here's the caveat to that, is that if your worthiness or your belief is low in yourself, then your perception is already warped because your fear has already told you, well, I'm just not that special, or I don't really have a unique thing to give to people. I don't have the qualifications, or all the different reasons, right? But it doesn't actually work like that. As we said before, there are people all the way along the price spectrum. alrighty, who have problems that they want solved. And you are the solution to that. We just tap into, where that solution, what that solution is, what your unique magic is to add to the world. And we speak to your clients, your potential clients, in language that they understand. And we speak deeper than just sort of the surface-based things, all right? And then, we become the bridge, all right? So once we kind of get our hands on them, we give them what they need, all right? Because if we're talking to them in language that they don't understand yet, because, they haven't taken the step that, to be, into the journey, we have to meet them where they're at. Does that make sense, everyone? We have to go and meet them where they're at to then bring them on that journey. All righty, so sell them what they want, then give them what they need. All right, take them to those deeper levels. So let's talk about the secrets now, like the 3-step financial success model for coaching businesses. All right, and as I said, no cookie cutters, but this is pretty up there in terms of you being able to have impact income, more money, less time, stackable wealth, all of those things. All righty, obviously I highly recommend this, but there are membership models, there are other models that you can follow. That's okay. There are one-on-one clientele models, but you need to make sure you're charging a premium because you're trading your one-on-one time for money, and therefore it's capped. All right, so anyway, so this particular model that we are here to learn about today, the financial success, 3-step financial success model. Secret number 1 is to have a signature program. All right, so some form of signature program. I hope I don't break this chat box. I'm just going to move it again. You did it. All right, so the problem that I find that comes up for people with this is that they pick without passion. They go, oh, okay, well, I don't know, like I work in this area, so I should probably do this kind of a thing, or this is exactly where my expertise lies, or, whatever it might be, rather than actually like following something that you're super passionate about and us creating from that space. All right. So in terms of, I'm going to give you some solutions in a minute, but in terms of your signature program, you want to make sure you're picking from a place of passion. What are you super passionate about? Who do you love working with? What do they look like? All right. The problem too is that I see, in terms of building out like what we call either a front-end program or a signature program, all right, is that maybe we're winging it, without any, without any support. Stop moving things. Okay, here we go. And if you've never built out a signature program before, you might want to borrow somebody else's knowledge in that area to help you build out something amazing. Many years ago, I did that. I had to do that too. And although I came with so much program creation knowledge, when I then took things to the next level, and it was more like a high-end program, of course I lent into people, who had the success that I was after, who was doing the things, because if there's a faster way to be able to get from point A to point B, why wouldn't we lean into that? I don't mind making mistakes, but if somebody else has already made all the mistakes and has some information that I can lean into and I can utilize that so that, so that success comes in a faster, time frame, why the fuck wouldn't I do that? So we don't want to just wing it. We want to be able to tap into things like this, where you can learn about some of these models that are going to help you succeed and build and grow, so that you're not flogging a dead horse, and so that you're not, building a business model that may, again, have you hustling for low-dollar clients across time and space, have you exhausted, burnt out, overwhelmed. All right. And the other problem that I see that kind of comes up when we're creating like a signature program or a front-end program, which could look like an 8-week program, could look like a 12-week program, whatever it may be. I have some clients that have a 6-week program, not a 6-week, a 6-month program, even. Whatever, like I don't mind what the length is, let's have that conversation, right? The other problem that I see that comes up is entitlement. All right, entitlement. And that's a bit of an interesting one, all righty. And I think that I'm pretty sure there's a slide. I did this 2 days ago and my brain, fries apparently in 2 days. There is a slide for entitlement. Let's have that chat then. I'm just going to close this thing that my iTunes on my computer thinks that I'm singing all the time, which obviously I'm not. I'm just talking at you. And so it keeps asking me for the song. It's like, do you want me to play the song? Like, what's the song? Or is this song licensed? It's like, no, this is how I talk. Anyway, so the solutions to these things are, basically we talk to, our VIP clients from this place. If it's not joy, fun, play, pleasure, passion, it's not for you. It is that simple. All right. So when you are building out like some form of, signature program, you don't want to do the thing that you think you should do, because that's not going to scale and grow over time, because you're going to lose like interest in it. You're not going to have any passion. If you're not excited by something, it's not going to excite clients either. Right? Like, and so you want to be able to show up on your social media, in your marketing, on a live video, or doing, in your program or whatever it is. And whatever, it's not about being me, it's whatever excitement looks like to you. All right. Or whatever passion looks like to you, or whatever joyousness looks like to you, or whatever heartfelt connection looks like to you. Again, it's going to be whatever the thing is, because of course, if you're like a trauma-informed coach or something like that, if you're showing up like I do, because you're like, oh my God, today we're going to talk about trauma and how fucked you all are. Like, yes, is everybody ready for that? Give me a yes in the comments below. That's going to be a bit weird. Like, that's probably not the tonality to take, right? But you're going to find the tonality, if it is heart-centered, if it is connective, if it is, like joyous or fun or playful or whatever it might be. I'm a joyful, fun, playful, passionate, kind of human in life. And so obviously to business, I'm going to do that in a way that is those things that I am naturally anyway. And I want that for you too, whatever that is for you. All right. For the thing that you're passionate about. Okay. So if it's not basically joy, fun, play, pleasure, passion, then it's not for you. So when you are building out like a front end or a signature program, that's the reason it's called a signature program, is because it's your fucking baby. You are birthing that motherfucker. All right. And so, you want to make sure that it is like, you poured out onto, into a program. All righty. If it doesn't light you up, it won't light anybody else up at all. Because if you're sort of, if you're showing up to your social media and you're like, fuck, I've got to do another post today, and what am I even going to say? And I don't know, like, maybe I should just say something about squat technique, or like, I'm like, if it's not fucking lighting you up, it's not going to light up anybody else either. All right. But if you're showing up and you're like, oh my God, like I had this thought overnight, or this dream, and this thing came to me, and it made me think about, what was I talking about before that I've been pondering? Authority. I did a post on authority, maybe last week, I think it was, because something landed, and because I was super passionate about it, and because I was contemplating it, and it was showing up in my reality. So what did I do? I posted from that place, and other people showed up in there and like, oh my gosh, and they commented, and it actually got, a decent amount of engagement, because it was birthed of me. It came from my thinking and my passion and my ideas and my intuition and my inspirations. All right. So if it doesn't light you up, it's not going to light anybody else up as well. So if it's not lighting you up, it's really fucking not for you. Misalignment, alignment, misalignment, alignment. All right. Tap into how something is making you feel. All right. Also, get support. If you're going to build out your first ever like front end signature program, get the support you need so that somebody can help you, because you could just be winging it. And sometimes what I see that happens is they'll be like, I think I'm going to do it like this. And I'm like, okay, well, that's cool, and have you thought about these things then? Because doing it that way is going to bring up these three things over here, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, no, I hadn't thought of that. And it's like, okay, well, could you do it like that, but maybe in this kind of way? And then actually that would kind of, cancel out those other things. And people go, okay, yes, that actually makes a lot of sense. Like, and so we play with that. This type of process, for the record, it's co-creation, all right? It's not a dictatorship. So, creating from that space, like you have to show up in equal spades, which also includes sometimes showing up and being like, no, I don't like the sound of that. Okay, cool. Like knowing that means let's change, let's adapt. What do we like the sound of? What's the opposite of that? You know, like if that doesn't feel like it fits, what about this kind of thing? You know, it gets to be this beautiful bouncing backwards and forwards co-creation. All right. And sometimes you need to have those people to bounce on. Alrighty. And then there is a knack to building out higher end programs, to speaking in a higher end program language. I mean, it doesn't mean that you're blowing it so out of the fucking water that your nervous system can't keep up with the price that you're charging. And to be honest with you, there is a rite of passage. And, you know, again, some of you here have heard me say this before. There is sometimes a rite of passage where as you're getting used to you know, stepping into this realm, like your nervous system has to catch up to where your, you know, your worthiness and your belief in yourself needs to catch up to what it is that you're offering. And so maybe, you know, it's not about like discounting or charging less or something like that, but we might jump you up a bit. And then we see how that feels. And then we go a little bit more, you know, and then you've run it 2 or 3 times. And then we land on the price that you're like, yep, that is the price for that thing. I feel really good about that. You know, I trust that I can serve these people. We've got testimonials. You know, it's worked really well. Amazing, amazing, amazing. All right. Now let's talk about entitlement a little bit. Okay. This is interesting, you know, and what do I want to say about entitlement? You know, this idea of entitlement in business kind of started coming into my vision like a few years ago. And it's interesting that it kind of wasn't there previous, but just this idea of, you know, like that, you know, we do really live in a society where we want what we want and we want it now. All right. And trust me, like I'm like that as well. I want what I want and I want it now. But I also understand that there is a rite of passage. But I also don't use rite of passage as an excuse to be placid or to not take action or to buy into my own fear and non-worthiness and stuff like that. It's like, no, sometimes we need to do some things to work up to something. We need to stop hiding. We need to find an audience. We need to be visible. We need to have consistency. We need to put some fishing rods out there and see what fish we can reel in. You know, we need to pivot things. We need to adapt. All right. But what I see happen too often in business is that, you know, we put it, like I said, like just as an example, we put a piece of marketing out there. We go, oh, well, nobody liked that. That's it. It's a complete failure. It's over. You know, like that didn't work. Like nobody wants this. One person told me it's too expensive, or 3 people told me it's too expensive, and it might be too expensive for them, you know, or did we not take them through a journey, a sales process? Did we not, you know, did we not meet them where they're at with their need? Do we need to pivot the need? You know, all of these things, right? Like there is some pivoting and adapting, you know, measuring that we need to do. All right, that's business. And far too often, you know, we make it about us in some way. We go, oh my God, nobody signed up. I'm a complete failure. I'm a piece of shit. I always knew that I was. This was never going to work. How dare I believe, you know, how dare I dream beyond a dream, you know, like for myself, like I knew I was never going to be, you know, that thing anyway. Like, right. When it's like, doesn't mean anything about you. Like it really doesn't, you know, it's just data. It's just business data. If something didn't work, awesome. That is one step closer to us finding out what does work, you know, when we test, measure, and adapt. All right. And so a lot of people give up. They almost don't even test, because testing implies that we are then going to get information. And from that information, you know, we may then take different steps. Testing implies that. And so many people don't even get to the test stage. They just do a thing and then go, oh, well, that didn't work. So now it's all over. So now I'm going to climb back into my hole, you know, and hide for another 6 months or another year or another 2 years. When it's like, no, we just learned the lessons. Let's, you know, let's utilize this momentum, you know, let's keep moving forward and all of that kind of stuff. All right. Let's, measure it. Let's adapt, you know, and let's end up succeeding. A few years ago, some of you know this. A few years ago, I have a program called Money Codes Mastery, and a few years ago, I put it out there, and it really did not land with anyone. And I was like, wow, like, you know, because I was talking about it. I wondered if the messaging was a bit off. I knew the messaging was probably a bit off. Once I started getting it out there and it wasn't really getting much traction or engagement, And I was sort of like, okay, there's something misaligned with this, with how I'm talking about it. And in the end, I had an entire marketing, it was like 4-week lead in or something like that. And literally we got nobody signed up. I don't even think anybody really asked us about it. I don't know that we had conversations even regarding it, and so on the final week, I was kind of just deliberately letting it fizzle out. And I was like, if anyone joins now, then I'm fucked, because they'll know, like, or whatever. And I was like, that'll be funny, I'll find a pathway a little bit different for them. So we let it fizzle. And so I could have gone into my little fucking shell and gone, oh my God, like, what does this mean about me? I'm such a failure. Who the fuck do I think I am? The program is obviously shit. I'm just going to blow it up, because it obviously doesn't interest anyone. And like, that's it, rah, like gotten all fucking caught up in my own significance, but what I did instead was I went, okay, I think that the messaging is wrong. It's not the pricing that, because we always love to blame the pricing, right? It's not the pricing. The messaging was wrong. It wasn't aligned and it wasn't communicating exactly what was bridging the gap, me meeting the clients where they were at. I was talking in too much terminology that was probably on my end of things. And so it just wasn't connecting with people's experience of money and life and financials and all that kind of stuff. So it didn't land. So I repositioned the marketing, the messaging, went back out there, messaged again, like literally like a week or two later, and was like, oh my gosh, and we relaunched, and we spoke about it differently, and we got 40 people signed up to that next round. Right? I don't think 40 people, holy shit. I don't think now that's the only time I've ever had 40 people sign up to something, I reckon, like outside of, maybe free coaching or different things like that. But 40 in one go was like, holy fuck, because we changed, we pivoted, we adapted. It was not the pricing. We didn't just go and blame that, and it was not the product itself is fucking good. Many of you have done Money Codes Mastery. I think it's a great little course, right? A great program, but something else is going on, right? Does that make sense, everyone? So we have this entitlement where we just go, oh, well, throw my hands in the air. And that's what I mean by get over yourself. I say that with love. It is something that my mum, taught me many years ago. Get the fuck over yourself. Sometimes, it doesn't mean anything about us. We don't have to make it this big thing. We don't have to go down the rabbit hole, whatever. It's just business data. All right. And from that place of business data, we get to take an unemotional look. Because if I got all caught up in my own significance or insignificance, I would have beat myself up, felt like shit, blown up the product, probably never put it out there again, gone back into hiding, for X amount of time because everyone knows that I'm such a fucking fool. They know that I failed, that I put this thing out there, that nobody signed up. What kind of a business coach am I if I have a program that got put out there and that nobody signed up to, and oh my God, all these things. Oh my God. Or, we could use the momentum, the lessons, understand what the data was telling us, take that unemotional look, change it. And what happened? Success. All right. So entitlement in business is this really interesting kind of thing that does creep in. It's okay to want what you want and you want it now. I think that's all right. But we just also have to understand, that you can't, and I don't know if that's what the next slide says. You can't be annoyed at the results you didn't get from the work you didn't do. All right. So if you're hiding away, if you're not taking the lessons, if you're not pivoting and adapting, if you're not testing things, if you're not, seeking help, if you're not investing in yourself, but you expect other people to invest in you, if you're not getting vulnerable and you expect other people to get vulnerable with you, are you annoyed at the results you didn't get from the work you didn't do? And that is entitlement as a sentence. All right. It comes up a lot in business. All righty. So how badly do you want it is the question. How badly do you want it? How badly do you want the impact? How badly do you want the income? How badly do you want to change people's lives, including your own, including your families? How fucking badly do you want it? My goals, I'm like, I just, I want them. And so they drive me. And if you don't have a goal that gets you up every morning or a why that gets you up out of bed going, fuck yes to that, like, let's have a conversation. We could, I can help you find that, right? Like, because there's probably something sitting there that maybe you're not actually aware of. I had a client like last week, a new client. Oh my God, literally we were both in tears. She's at the fucking Bunnings car park, and sent me this message saying, oh my God, it all just landed. And then she told me about this beautiful vision that she wants to have, this is a fitness client. So she was like, I want to have fitness classes for, for either like not single moms, domestic violence, people who are coming out of, bad situations and scenarios, low socioeconomic, like, yes, she wants to run her bigger business, but she also wants to have this kind of charitable, volunteer arm to her business as well, and help support people like she had once felt supported, and pay it forward. And like all of this, she's like, I'm sitting here and I'm in the car park. She's like, I'm basically crying. I got goosebumps talking about it now. And as I'm reading this and what she said, oh my God, goosebumps, they're like all up my face and down my arms. I was sitting there fucking welling in tears, on the weekend, she's in fucking Bunnings. I'm like sitting there as well, just at home, just being like, oh my God, because I could fucking feel it. Right? The vision, the dream beyond the dream, how she wants to transform lives and what impact she wants to make in this world, and look, sometimes it takes a minute for that to land. So if you're sitting here today and you're like, I don't fucking know, that's okay too. Don't judge that. I just spat on myself. Let's wipe that away. That's okay. That's okay. All right. But sometimes this greater purpose or fulfillment or, whatever it is, like when you hit it, you fucking know about it. All right. And it's okay to also want for your life and your family's life as well. That is okay. That could be your big why right now. So how fucking badly do you want it? What can you connect it to? And then also, what are you willing to give up for it? All right. And I don't actually believe that, like, hustling this excess of time away needs to be what you give up for it. But what mindsets are you willing to give up? What comfort zones are you willing to give up? What hiding away are you willing to give up? What fucking entitlement are you willing to give up? What investment are you willing to give up? What energy, all of those different things. What are you willing to give up? Or what are you willing to step into? Because it could be an up-leveled version of you to make it fucking happen. Alrighty. So this is client B. This is a client of mine, and she actually, was overworked and underpaid, very much so. She was making about $70 a week, literally a week, having to, hustle to a huge number of clients, working for what's called a mass number model. So there are a lot of big companies out there that run their businesses on mass numbers. All right, like where, you have to have 10,000 people paying $5 or something like that. Like that's a mass number model, but for one individual, you as a coach, to hustle to that level it's not a scalable model. It will have you exhausted. So she was working for one of those and was literally honestly making about $70 a week. Right. So we jumped on a call together, and I remember the first call, and we were having this good old chat, and we sort of came up with a plan to transition and create her basically a signature program, like we've been talking about, here so far as part of one of the 3 kind of steps. So we created her a high-end program, a high-end offer. And to be honest with you, it's low-end, high-end. And I was speaking to her about 2 weeks ago, and she's about to up her prices again because she's just like, she's so in her worthiness and what she is able to create now. And this is like 6 months down the track, right? That she's like, I literally have to up my prices because everybody wants me. And unfortunately, to scale and grow, she's like, they can't all have me. Like, so I have to now put a premium on my own time, and bring in team to help, right? To be able to continue to scale and grow. All right. Her objection was a lot of fear. She was just like, I don't think people are going to pay me that, or who the fuck do I think I am? I'm a mother of like 5 children. I homeschool, she had a lot of fear, right, that came up for her. We like many times, when we were on the phone or, on coaching together, again, apparently I cry with my clients. Isn't that weird? She'd be crying and then I'd be crying for her, whatever, like, because we would just be having these deep unpacked conversations. But I fucking handheld her, through this time of building out this program. And it was amazing. And in under 6 weeks, we had her signature program launched. We had it filled. with, I think it was 18 people, right? I think it was in 5 weeks, to be honest with you. In 5 weeks, we had the program created, launched, and as I said, filled. All right, like with about 18 people at the time, paying around $100 a week. So it was like $1,800, you know, by the time we finished time together over about 12 weeks, I think she was up to 24 clients. So about 2,400, you know, because we'd grown, you know, along that time together. Alrighty. And she came with all of that fear, and yet, you know, trusted a process, invested the time and energy and effort into herself, followed, you know, some key, you know, advice pieces, pivoted and adapted as we needed to, you know, and the proof is in the pudding. And as I said, you know, 6 months down the track from that, she's like, literally, she's like, I think I'm moving to France now. I need to pack up my children, you know, like my 5 children. She's, you know, doing all these different things. Like, it's amazing, right? How 6 months can change your fucking life when you go all in, right? And when you close the back door, like, with no, you know, no sort of, you know, no back door. Well, if this doesn't work, because as soon as you allow there to be a back door, you know, then that seed of doubt, you know, creeps into your mind. Alrighty, so that's a front end or a signature program. All right, so that might be something. And she did a bit of more of a membership model, so hers was more ongoing. All right, so it's kind of hybrid between this signature program, MRR program, but you'll understand. So MRR program, secret number 2 to this financial success model is having an MRR program. Now, what an MRR program is monthly reoccurring revenue program. All right. So let's say this, sorry, I have things rolling around everywhere. So let's say this is your signature program here. All right, at level 2, we'll call it. Level 3 is then your MRR program. Now, not everybody who's up here is going to end up here, and not everybody who is here is going to end up here. All right, that's okay. And some are not going to leave here for a while, and then finally they'll come down here, and then some will go from here straight to here and whatever else. All right, it's fine. It is all divine and perfect. So down here, this level is having an MRR program, a monthly reoccurring revenue program. Now, remember, at all levels, we still serve with integrity. All right, like you obviously need to have something, you know, that is the solution to someone's problem, that is your genius, your unique magic, and how you are able to help someone with, you know, from a place of passion. That needs to be there too, as we know. So when we move into, excuse me as I snot, monthly reoccurring revenue programs, well, number 1, the problems that show up are these 3 things, you know, that I see a lot of clients, you know, struggle with. They're like, what the fuck is MRR? Is number 1. Well, it's monthly reoccurring revenue, and monthly reoccurring revenue is stackable wealth. All right, because as people come to this level, this is where we stack wealth. This is kind of it's front end, you know, it's not quite entry level, but it can be, you know, and these people are maybe with you for a particular amount of time, and that's okay, you know, but we want to be able to offer them, you know, a longer term solution. We want to be able to hold them along the way. We want to answer, you know, we want to be the solution to more of their problems in one way or another, because sometimes we can take them on a point A to point B journey, yes, in, you know, 1 to 12 weeks or something like that, but to really create long-lasting sustainable change, you know, to embed it, to handhold them, to be there day to day, week to week, month to month, and potentially year to year, you know, we want to have a solution that's here for them as well, for those who want to come on the journey with us. All right. So how the fuck MRR? You know, yes, that is important. We'll talk about that. You know, how do you create a program that people, you know, that is going to support people over a much longer period of time, you know? And sometimes you're like, you know, I'm just trying to figure this bit out for now, let alone think about all of this. And that's okay. We're going to talk about that in a minute. All right. And the last thing is, who the fuck MRR? So what the fuck is MRR? How the fuck do I even run a, you know, a monthly recurring revenue program? What does that even look like? And then who the fuck is even going to jump on board with that? All right. Like, you know, who are your clients that are going to come on that journey with you? And we're going to talk about those things. Excuse me. I have the hiccups. I'm scared to sip water, like it's also bubbles water, so it's just going to make me hiccup or burp or something more. Hang on. Avocado. Okay. So secret 2, solution. All right. The solutions are that you want to take it step by step. All right. It's really interesting. When we're building out a product suite, and again, I think that there is actually a slide for this, but let me give you just a bit of an idea here. When we're building out a product suite, we actually create, can I even do this? Does this even work? This first, thank God this book is here. I'd have such a double chin right now doing this. We create this first, we create this second, and we actually create this third. Does that work? Is that even the right way? Yes, I did it. All righty. So right now, I'm literally giving you the information for an entire product suite. All right, I'm saying if you have, even if you've got one portion of your business that looks a particular way and you're not about to blow that up, I'm not here to blow that up. Like, you know, if you've got a bricks and mortar face-to-face facility, or you're running a program with somebody else, or whatever it is, I'm not here to blow that up. All right, I'm just saying that, you know, moving forward, you may want to adopt this methodology as part of your overall product suite. All right, because this is stackable wealth. This is, you know, growth oriented. This is scalable. This, you know, means you can bring in help and support. This is future proofing your business. All of the reasons that we've been talking about. All right. But the thing is, sorry, can you even see that? The thing is that it's a lot. I'm giving you this is an entire business model. All right. It's like, holy fuck, like that's an entire business in a box right here. Okay. So what you would do is you take it step by step. So we start here because this is the bit that we need first. Believe it or not, even though it's kind of like the second layer, this is the bit that we need first, because we can actually invite people in at this level, you know, and start building your confidence, you know, and understanding and all those different things. And then we next, we do this level. The MRR program is actually the second thing, but you could be building this. Well, you've already got people in this program. All right, just getting it ready for at the end to make an offer so that they can come down here. And then once you have these two pieces in play and in place, then we go, okay, cool. How do we now on a more regular basis filter people into these programs? All right, and that's when we look at, you know, the last bit that we're looking at today which is actually this piece up here, which is basically like your potential lead generation strategies. All right, and we systemize that as well. So again, you're constantly having a flow of potential leads coming in that are doing this here, and then some of them are going to drop down to this level, and that's really exciting, and then some of them are going to come and join you down here as well. All righty. So it's step by step. You get really overwhelmed. Some of you might walk away today. I hope not, that you're not going to walk away today and be really overwhelmed, because I feel like, you know, we're breaking it down really simply. And I'm telling you that you do it step by step. And that honestly, you know, potentially getting yourself some support is going to help with that. But just do it step by step. So start with, you know, with the signature program. Then we do this bit, which is our MRR program. But you could already be making money off your signature program while then in the background creating your MRR. All right. MRR is stackable wealth creation, because you can keep inviting people in to this top thing, and then they might join here. And then some of those people are going to filter down here. Again, if we look at something like $100,000, right, just as an easy figure, you know, if you get 10 people joining this program, like 10 people joining this program a year, and then 10 people joining this program, and you run it 4 times a year. All right, so it could be an 8-week program that you run once a quarter. Does that make sense, everyone? You know, 10 people join it, and then from those 10 people, the statistics generally say 4 people are going to join your MRR program. All right, which you charge maybe a little bit more for. That's okay, maybe about the same, you know, just it's over a longer period of time. All righty, and if you charge the same, just it's over, you know, this might be 8 weeks, but this might be an entire year. All right, that the 10 people that come in here, you know, each time, and then 4 of them drop down. So over the year, you end up with 16 people in this program, and you keep doing 10 in here, 4 drop down, 10 in here, 4 drop out. Do you see how that becomes stackable wealth? All right. And I can't remember, I think it's about $100 a week per person, and 10 people, 4 times a year, 4 of those people dropping down here, and then them paying $100 a week. I believe that's the calculation for $100,000. All right. I've just given it to you. So if you want to make $100,000, run something 4 times a year, charging 10 people $100, each per week, and then that drops down, I'm pretty sure that's the maths on it, because I write down a bunch of maths at different times, right? Then that's 16 people across an entire year, I think it's over $100,000. Done. And $100 a week for anything is low dollars. It is low. All right. But again, I know that there are some of you here that have business models charging less than $50 for an entire week of, help. There is no other industry that does that. All right. There is none. Like most industries, most coaching industries, will charge some kind of hourly rate in the hundreds for one particular hour. All right. So, and look, I know there's a lot of fitness professionals here where the only industry that literally will charge $50 a week, for an entire week of services, hours upon hours, and then feel guilty that we're charging too much. No other industry is built like that. So if you add an arm of your business that does this, and you charge, a VIP rate, and again, $100 for an entire, for a week, right? I mean, still low end, high end, super low end, right? Then there's $100,000 on top of what you're already making. All righty. So that's why we do MRR programs, stackable wealth creation. We are playing the long game in business. We're not just putting out spot fires. And that is something that I see far too often as well. In business is that we're just looking, like week to week. And so we're like, fuck, I need to make more money. I'm going to freak out. Maybe I should run a program. I'm going to start it in 2 weeks' time. I'm just going to charge this amount, even though I don't know what the inclusions are yet. Or I'm just going to throw something out there and hope that it sticks. Like there's too much reactionary behavior happening or too much entitlement versus understanding like you guys are all here, right? Because you want a business that is still here in 5 years' time. I imagine most of you want a healthy business, to still be running a healthy business in 1 year's time, in 2 years' time, in 5 years' time, possibly in 10 years' time as well, right? Like business is a long game. And so we need to, yes, pay attention to the day-to-day of the business, what's happening, but also the week-to-week, the month-to-month, and the year-to-year. All right. This sets you up for growth and scalability. That is what scalability is. All right, is being able to scale, and stack your wealth and your growth across time and space to future-proof your business, including in ways that mean if you have to take time out of your business, then your business isn't going to fall apart. And if that's how your business runs right now, again, we need to have a conversation, like I'm a master at that. I had to just take a chunk of time out of my own business. We had no sales coming through, either because I couldn't do front end selling. We now have systems. We had systems in place already, in terms of ensuring that my clients were still being served, that I was showing up in the way that I could, that that business kept rolling on, that we were future-proofed for exactly instances like that. And although we took a few months off selling, which put a little bit of a, what's it called? Like money was still coming in, thousands of dollars each week, because we have a business model that means that it is future-proof for even if I need to take a holiday or I need to take a couple of months off or whatever it might be. All righty. And now we even have the sales portion covered as well. All right. So now, there will not be like we call it lag time. So there will not be a sales lag again in my business. And that's okay. We can hold a sales lag of 2 months. That didn't matter. I had that built in. Now we have another system built in where we don't even have to do a 2-month sales lag. Right. I want that for you. And I want whatever you want. So if you're like, I don't know what that means or what that is, like, or if you're like, that sounds really good, what the fuck? Like, let's create that for you. All righty. So we don't want to be putting out spot fires. Business is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Okay. So yes, we want to be, creative, adaptable, all those different things. No problem. But we also want to play the long game. All right. So doing this type of thing, MRR program, is a one-to-many approach. You may have portions of one-on-one, but overall you will still do, one-to-many. All righty. And so that enables you to serve and have greater impact as well. right? Because it's not all about the income, but this gives you greater impact because you can't keep trading your one-on-one time for money. You don't have any more hours in the day, all right? So we want to funnel people through, all right, through what we were talking about before with a product suite. Is it's always the next most logical step. You know, you're taking people from this step to whatever the next most logical step is, or next most logical solution for their problem at the level that they, you know, they're coming in at. And then from there, you want to give them the next most logical step or solution to the problem that they then have. All right. And also this is aligned product. You know, this is an aligned product with aligned clients, because if you're serving regarding something that you're super passionate about, there's 3 things that I'm super passionate about, right? Like at this level where I'm like, oh, I could talk about these things all day. Business, which surprises me sometimes too, but I fucking love it. And I can have this conversation all day long, you know, and I love serving and helping. And it is, you know, a place of magic and genius for me. The other is universe. I could talk universe all day long, you know, I love it. Like, absolutely. Why the hell not? And the third thing is nutrition. I'm super passionate about, you know, nutrition and holistic health. All right. And I'm not currently doing anything in that arena, you know, not really. But, you know, if I was to, fuck yes to that, because if it lights me up, what does it do, everybody? It lights everyone else up as well. Alrighty, because I'm lit up. And so if I'm talking passionately about it, then people are going, fuck, like that is really interesting. Or, oh my gosh. And they're grabbing different bits and pieces. So that's why you end up with this beautiful aligned product suite coming from that place of passion and joy, following your greatest dreams and at greatest excitement. And guess who's going to attract towards you? Other people who either get really fucking lit up or excited about that, or want to lean into your genius because maybe it isn't something they're super excited about, but they're going to be able to borrow your belief, your passion, you know, and all of those amazing things. Alrighty. So I was like, I don't actually know what this says. So you need to relinquish some control. All right, which is a bit interesting, right? We need to relinquish some control on the need to know it all now. All right. And that's what we were talking about with taking it step by step. All right. Because what I find, like a lot of clients, they're like, oh, but then what happens? And then what's the next move? And then I need to create this bit. And then what is going to be, you know, what's going to be the week to week, or what's the this or that, or how am I going to do this, or da 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 da. And honestly, you know, it becomes like having holding on to that level of like control and need and like and discomfort in an amount of uncertainty, you know, only promotes more overwhelm, more burnout. All right. So when we were talking before about how badly do you want it and what are you willing to give up to achieve it, right? Some of you may actually need to give up a bit of your need for control, you know, a bit of your need to know it all now. All right. Because I promise you that when we actually do the behavioral piece, that control and that need to know it all now is actually tied into self-sabotage. All right. It is a way that you can continue to play small. It is a way that you know, perfectionism plays into it. It is a way that we then become stifled in inaction. It is a way that we then procrastinate, because if you had to fucking know it all and know it all right now, you know, fuck, like no wonder you're stifled in inaction, right? Because it's too much. So we just do the bit that we need to know now, which is the signature program portion. We start here, all right, and we build that out. And then we do the next bit, and then we do the next bit, all right? Because to be honest with you, and this might be a little bit hard, like hard to swallow, and I don't mean this in a rude way, you know, but even burnout and overwhelm is a self-sabotaging pattern, all right? And it is a pattern that you are running. It is a pattern that you are choosing and that you are running. And I understand that is a bit like, whoa, like what the fuck, Sky? Like I'm not choosing to be overwhelmed. Why the fuck would I choose that for myself? That makes no sense whatsoever. But when you actually delve into the behavioral science of it, it is actually a choice, and it is a pattern, you know, like it is a pattern. And so sometimes, look, there is an inherent amount of, you know, if it is a pattern, which it is, then sometimes we run patterns on autopilot. but we can actually choose differently. All right. Now I put my hand up. I say that we each have a flavor of stress. Mine is burnout, or mine used to be burnout. Right. I am far better these days, as I have been over the years, previous to this, to pay attention to my own accidental inclination towards burnout. All right. That I do all the things until I do all over myself and then I'm fucking done, aren't I? Right. So having that information about myself, it doesn't mean that I beat myself up and go, oh, you're such a piece of shit because you sometimes get burnt out and whatever. It's not that. It's just leverage over ourselves. If we can take an unemotional look and go, okay, I know that I'm actually, I can be really driven. I am really driven, but I can be driven to a fault, right? Where I'm like, I want to do the thing. Let's see, what else, like whatever, because I love it, because I'm super passionate, if you can tell. Avocado, right? And so because of that, I have to go, okay, cool. My inclination is to burn out. And if I keep running and choosing that pattern of burnout, then, the joke's on me. I'm the fucking idiot who's going to feel like shit. And, and I laugh. I'm really annoyed at the moment, not really annoyed, but many of you know that I've just done my ankle, and I am a firm believer that the universe, it loves to send us lessons. And so, it whispers, then it knocks, and then it sends a tsunami. And having a fucked ankle right now, like, really is the tsunami, isn't it? It's the universe saying, Sky, you need to slow the fuck down. And because we don't trust you to do that, I'm going to fuck your ankle up so that you have to. But the annoying thing is that I actually have done a lot of work this year to ensure that, again, to just keep adding new layers of ensuring that I am not in burnout, that I'm not doing all of the things, that I am calming things down, that I do look at all the areas of my life. So now I'm like, what the fuck is that ankle about? Because I'm like, I have slowed down. So anyway, I don't know what the universe, I'm sure it's not that. I'm sure the universe is still not trying to test me, that, I've learned to not do too much. All righty. So if you're an overwhelmed kind of a human, it's a pattern that you're choosing to run. And your nervous system and your neurology is very used to running it. All right. It's the same pattern to do with anxiety. We know that anxiety is a path to least resistance. If you feel anxious, your brain actually gets used to firing off anxiety. And so it becomes more hypersensitive, hyper alert, hyper aware. And so it starts to fire off anxiety sooner. All right. It starts to fire off overwhelm sooner. And burnout is a little bit like that too. It is and it isn't, like you still push yourself into burnout, doing all the things. But the problem with burnout is that you're not taking the signals and then it fucking happens. But overwhelm and anxiety, like, are a little bit alike in some ways. Alrighty. So look, that's a little bit of a sidestep, but we just want to put it there so that you understand that, like, once we're aware, that gives us all the empowerment, as leverage over ourselves to go, okay, I'm going to have to trust a process to know I don't need to know it all right now, because trying to control every last bit of it is going to push me into overwhelm. And I'm choosing to not run the pattern of overwhelm anymore, or for this particular thing. All right. I'm just going to do the next most logical step. All right. And I'm going to seek help. And then I'm going to find out the next most logical step. And then I'm going to do the next most logical step until all of it is a beautiful tapestry. You get the idea. So how are we doing out there? Are you all still alive? We're coming up to our final point now, which is really exciting. So I just want to tell you about Z, or Zoe. Zoe's a client of mine. I love her dearly. She is an amazing human. She's a one-on-one client of mine. We've been working together for about a year now, and she jumped on the phone with me. We had an amazing chat. I remember that initial call as well, because I was very surprised, because we were in a program together, together, and there were obviously, codes she was picking up that I was putting down, and she was just like, actually, I need to work with you, and so we had this amazing conversation about, because again, as I said, I was quite surprised. I was like, oh my gosh, like, okay, what is it that we're wanting to build? What does that look like? And we came up with a plan for her, and the plan was this. She was so sick of doing one-on-one but it was a big money earner for her. She charges like, thousands of dollars for one-on-one. And so, she was like, obviously coming with a bit of reluctance, going, I don't want to be doing this thing anymore. It's exhausting me. She's neurodivergent herself. She has multiple diagnoses of autism, of PDA, which is what is the one? I always forget it. PDA. If anyone knows, you're welcome to throw it in there. Pathological demand avoidance. So if you tell her to do something, pathologically, she's probably unlikely to do it. That's fun in business, but this is just her unique, amazing magic that is her. And so when I say there's no cookie cutters, I mean there are no cookie cutters. We work with what we are being presented with, and we create a model, and if this isn't quite it, this is a great model. This really worked for her because it is a more money and less time model. It is one-to-many versus one-to-one. It is scalable, stackable wealth. It gave her freedom of time and energy, all those different things. And so we built out a model where she got to live her greatest passion, something, it's called futuring. And so she has a program that is called the Future of Mothers, and she helps other mothers, with neurodivergent children, who Zoe also has, and neurodivergent husband, and she helps them with this particular modality called futuring. Alrighty. And then they join another program, which for her is called Pioneers, the Pioneers. And these are other mothers that now also then help support other mothers at different levels and stuff like that. So it's this beautiful, supportive network. This is what we created for her, so she is feeling passion-filled, lit up. And if she is feeling passion-filled and lit up, so is her tribe, all helping and support one another. And it has to work for her life, right? It had to work for her life because her life is not cookie cutter by any means. All right. And so her objections was obviously, no cookie cutters, but also, that we had to work with pathological demand avoidance, that we need to find amazing ways for her to do things that makes her feel like she's doing it from places of passion, not from demands or, I have to do a bunch of admin or whatever else it may be, in her business, and also getting her help and support. All righty. Now, Zoe, within 6 months, so by the end of last year, I think we were up to her third round of futuring of mothers, which we had changed a couple of times, across time and space to suit her, then to suit the tribe, then to suit her again, now to suit the journey. Now it's about to go evergreen. She's running a fourth round right now, and her fifth round is actually going to be an evergreen program, so people can join at any time. So she's not constantly in a launch lead-in, which is beautiful. Within the 6 months of working with her, we had this complete. We had this done, quite quickly, to be honest with you. And then by the end of the 6 months, so by December, we had retired her partner, all right, who was on about $150,000 a year himself. All righty. And so this year, I'm curious. It's tax time, but we know that that this year is going to be this last year that we worked together. It's going to be her biggest business year yet. She's bringing in over $300,000. I don't know what the exact final figure is going to be. I think it's closer to 350, and I'm interested to find out. I'll have to let you all know. All righty. So how awesome is that? Retired her partner. I want to do that. That's on my list as well. But that's not yet. We'll keep making a little bit extra money for now. And over 300,000. Fuck yes to that. All righty. So this is the final piece up here. All righty. So we've done number one, all right, create your signature program, then have a monthly reoccurring revenue program. And then we look at the bit, because we can still launch this and do a launch lead in and filter people through here. But then we want to look at, more of an ongoing strategy, that is going to help support, facilitate, clients, coming in on a more regular basis to filter through. So it's not, you don't want a whole bunch of stop start. Who feels like their business is seasonal? Right? If you've got seasonality in your business, we want to break you away from that in one way or another, because you don't want there to be feast and famine in your business. You want there to have this piece that we're about to talk about, you want to have that in there so that we can continue to filter people through, at all levels, all throughout the year. All right, that there is no feast and famine for you, that your business is not seasonal. Does that make sense, everyone? Are you all still here? Are you alive? Are you with me? Let me just check on you all. Excellent, good. I think you are still here. So the problems that we face or the problems that we see that come up in terms of an event strategy. So we call this event strategy, this level up here, but event strategy, it encompasses a bunch of different things, and I'm going to tell you, what they may look like. I'm going to give you about 5 examples of what we call event strategy, but it's basically like a lead generation strategy that works really nicely as part of this overall, financial success model. All right. So the first challenge that sometimes comes up is visibility. All right. That we're like, I don't know, like I haven't been very consistent on social media, or I don't really love social media. I don't know how to market. Like there's all these different things. Brilliant advice. Excellent. I'm so glad, Joanne. Yes, I'm excited for us to have conversations, Joanne, for you for sure, to help build this out into your existing business as well, and to take whatever works and relinquish whatever doesn't, right? Amazing. Are you guys all getting a lot from this? Like, let me know. I want to know that you're still alive. Are you guys getting like lots of different bits and pieces? Like, regardless of what business model you're running with now, you might have a bit of a business model that does function. You might have a business model that looks like this, but I would hope that there's like lots of different bits, coming from all over. Who's awake? Who's with me? Just Joanne and I having a good old chat. Awesome. Thanks. Excellent. Thank you, Anne-Marie. Bless you. Should be like just typing something in. Good. Always Trinity. Excellent. Good. The puppies and you, everybody is fine. Good. I'm glad you're all awake. So what happens up here? Look, visibility. Visibility is the first challenge or problem, is ensuring that you're visible and that you're visible consistently. We need to have like, if you want to bring in consistent, again, this is entitlement, right? If you treat your business like a hobby, like, oh, it's my little side project or something like that, then you're going to get hobby results. All right. If you treat it in that way, like it's a part-time gig, then you're going to get part results. It's that simple. All right. And again, I'm against burnout. I don't want to do burnout. I'm not here for fucking hustle energy, but we do need there to be an amount of consistency. And so if you expect, or you would like in your business, consistent, reliable, influx of leads that equal clients, because we want quality leads. I don't have the time for bullshit non-quality. I honestly just don't. And that's not on other people. It's on me. Like burnout is my flavor. And so I have to moderate those things, which means I have to be protective of my time and my energy, very much so, because I will do all over myself if given the opportunity, right? And so that means that I want quality. I don't want quantity. It's not about like, huge amounts to filter through 100 so you can get to those 4, whatever. And I know plenty of business models that work like that. That is not for me. And some people, you guys might, I do know some other people who that is for them. Okay, cool. No worries. But I want quality humans, quality connection, quality conversations, all of that amazing stuff. I know Kerry's here. Kerry and I, we spoke, and it was like, like 2 old friends having a conversation over coffee. I love that. That's what I want. I want to have connected conversations with humans, with real people, right? And so if you want to have quality leads coming through, if you want consistent leads coming through, then you need to show up consistently. So if you are showing up in piecemeal fashion, you are going to have a seasonal business, with a piecemeal approach. All right. And again, it's not about burnout. It's not about overwhelm, and it's not about hustle, but it is about visibility. And sometimes we need to build your visibility up. Sometimes we need to bring some new people into your realm, some new audience and things like that. I'm pivoting some of my audience at the moment. And so we're bringing new audience into our realm as well, which is really exciting. And so, yeah, it's all about, visibility, audience, consistency. All righty. So we need to make sure that we're looking at that, especially with the event strategy. Expertise. This is more of like one of those, it's that we often think, we're like, oh my gosh, but I don't have expertise in anything, or I can't do that, or, but that's why there are, as I said, I'm going to give you about 5 different event strategies. And I promise you there is one that we could, fit. But at the same time, problem number 3 is confidence. All right. You are only going to get confident at doing something by doing it. So the more you sit there and procrastinate and overthink it and try to somehow fit yourself into a confident box where you've built yourself up enough to finally be able to do the thing, it's probably not going to happen like that. We actually need to do the thing, to get the confidence in doing it. All right. And so again, that's where, like, with love, we've got to get over ourselves a little bit, because if we expect our clients to step outside of their comfort zones, then we have to as well. You cannot hide out in fear all the time. So sometimes you're going to have to get a little bit uncomfortable. And for some of you, that might be to do with point number one, the visibility. You're going to have to start showing up consistently, talking about things, getting used to getting words out of your mouth, having conversations with people, hearing people say no to you and you not take it on board as if you're a piece of shit or whatever else it might be. All right. We have to work towards that, but that only comes in the doing of the thing and the consistency of doing of the thing. Does that make sense? Wheel of death. There it is. So here are the things. I feel like I've just said that word 20 times in the last sentence. So pick one strategy and do it well. And I'm going to give you the different strategies, all right? But we want to pick one thing and do it well, all right? Do it for a year minimum. All right, pick one thing, do it well, do it for a year minimum so that you can become an absolute master at it. All right, run it every month. And what that looks like, when I tell you what the strategies are, this will make a little bit more sense, that like, for instance, if we were doing like a mini challenge strategy, or just, we call it a challenge strategy, we don't call it a mini challenge strategy, but it's a challenge strategy where you might run an event, like, where you pop in for 3 days and you teach on a few different little things, and you do like a challenge strategy, with people. All right, you want to pick that strategy and you want to do that every single month. Run a new 3-day challenge with people, and then do another one, and then do another one, because in that way, you're also stacking your confidence, you're stacking your knowledge, you're stacking your visibility and your audience, you're getting really fucking ace at doing a thing, and it's going to help, people know what you're about, know what you're up to, and want to, like, move through like your potential product suite. All right. So I wrote 2 by 2. What that means is for 2 weeks of a month, you have a launch lead in where you're like inviting people to come and join your 3-day challenge. Then you run the 3-day challenge, and then you might have an invitation, to chat to some people after the 3-day challenge. And then, those people, who are, a bit more, ready to take things to the next level, they take you up on that next most logical step. You have those conversations over the next kind of 2 weeks, and then, people hopefully potentially will join, in one of your programs. That's exciting. And then, you run a different challenge or different, lead generation strategy the next month, excuse me. Now, if people don't join or don't reach out to you, are you going to get the shits with them? Are you going to be like, oh, well, I ran a thing, like I ran a 3-day challenge and then nobody spoke to me, and then like that obviously didn't work, and fuck everybody, and yeah. Like, no, we don't want to be in that frequency or that energy. You ran a thing. That's awesome. Now run the next one. Do it more, do it better. Like, try a new audience, like try a new, invitation strategy, getting it out there. Like, find another hot topic to do it on. All right. So, like, we want to keep stacking your confidence, your knowledge, and we want to stack the strategy itself too. Does that make sense, everyone? So, and the interesting thing is that, people sometimes we call them floaters. I have clients that are with me now, that just kind of watched in the background for like a year. And then when I didn't even, like I almost didn't know they existed. And then when they finally reached out, they're like, hello, I've been watching everything that you've been doing over the last year, and something finally clicked, and I knew I needed to reach out and I want to join. All right. So we don't want to begrudge those people. We all have a different change process. All right. And so if somebody, like those people who are watching you today, could be your clients of tomorrow. All right. So we just keep showing up regardless of what is going on. We take some of the data, we do pivot and adapt still. We learn the lessons, we stack your knowledge, we stack your confidence. All righty. You want to build an audience along the way. If you just run one thing that one time, people are still kind of getting used to that this is your new dynamic and this is something that you do, and that you know, they might not join the first time. That's okay, but they might join the second, and they'll definitely join the third. You want to build your visibility and your audience along the way, all right? So that's why we pick something, you know, we run one strategy, you know, we learn to do it really well. We become a master at it, a master at building an audience for that particular strategy, you know, and our process and our solution that we are, you know, for the problem that our clients have. All right, we want to, you know, build that over time, because business is a marathon, it's not a sprint. All right. And the idea as well is that obviously, you know, as I was saying before, we live in such a fast-paced, short-term gratification kind of a society. All right, we are so entitled. We want what we want, and we want it now, and we want to do it without the work. You know, so we get all offended, you know, for the results we didn't get, you know, based on the work we didn't do. And sometimes you do the work, and sometimes it doesn't, you know, doesn't quite match up either. That's okay. You're allowed to be disappointed, but not disheartened. You know, your goal may not change, just the process. We might adapt, we might pivot, you know, that's okay too. All right, so this is the third thing you implement, as we spoke about. All right, so we first go signature program, we get this happening, you know, and that might take one launch lead, and that might take two, you know, like we may have to pivot and adapt, but we get that off the ground and running. Then, you know, we create the next thing so that these people have a place to go, you know, and we're getting really amazing information, and, you know, and building, stacking that wealth. And then you do the first thing, all right, which is this. All right, we work out what the lead generation strategy is that you're going to filter people through on a more regular basis. All righty. Now the main lead generation strategies that are out there, I said 5. What am I missing? What am I missing? I don't know. I can't think of the one that I'm missing. We have 4. We have 4 today. That's fine. We'll go with the 4 that I've put down. What is the 5th? Anyway, group strategy. So having yourself your own public-facing community group, all right, where you get to be the expert in your field, all right, where you build an audience, not around your business, all right, it's not called your business name, but around a movement or around a solution for a problem or a desire that people have. All right, my community group currently is called the Lux Life for coaches, leaders, and visionaries. All right, because it says who it's for. It's for coaches, leaders, and visionaries who want, you know, basically to upgrade their life. All right, whatever that looks like to you. Okay, so a group strategy is having that public-facing community group where you show up, you serve, and if people just want to devour your free content, cool, no worries, let them, that's okay. But when they're ready to really fucking double down on their own results, and they're really ready to fucking have some balls in the game, and they're really ready to take you up on, you know, the next level that you've got, the next most logical step, because they are like, fuck yes, I want that thing, you know, you're making offers, you know, within that community group, but you're also just serving as well, you know, and so then when it's time, they will reach out because they're like, fuck, that person seems to know a bunch about that thing. Maybe I should reach out now. Now is the time. I'm so sick of, you know, whatever problem, you know, they're facing is. All righty. So we can have a group strategy. We can also then have a challenge strategy, as I said, which is like every month, you know, you might run like a 3-day challenge. So you put a bunch of invitations out there, you know, you get people really excited. You know, it's obviously to do with a hot topic that people are really interested in. You still serve. So if people are showing up for your 3-day event, you know, they get to walk away with some beautiful information, you know, but also you're putting offers out there so that those who are ready to fucking take it to the next level, you know, like, and jump into your signature program, you know, you've put that offer out there as well. And it's okay for you to make offers. You know why? Because these people have a problem that you have a solution for. How awesome is that? All right. And money is just a frequency. It is just an energy exchange for you being able to solve that problem for them with integrity. All right. So that is another strategy, is a challenge strategy, you know, running like a 3-day or something. I like 3 days. You can do a 5-day. 5 days can feel a little bit long for people. So a 3-day challenge strategy is really nice, you know, and put that invite, that offer out there to the next most logical step. There's also a masterclass strategy. Full disclosure, you're in one. You're in a masterclass right now. where we're talking about a really amazing, scalable financial success business model. You guys are going to walk away with so much amazing information off the back of today, I hope, right? And you can go and you can, implement this yourself, or you can try to. But for those, obviously, who are interested in getting more key support, I'm going to make that, available to you. All right. And it doesn't mean that you have to sign up and throw a bunch of money at me. That's not the next most logical step. It's as simple as jumping on the phone, with myself or somebody from my amazing team, and we'll simply help you bounce your individual, monetization to success. What's going to work for you in your business and your life? What's landed with you from today? What things maybe you're not thinking about that we can kind of help give you the answers to there on the phone. All right. Like it's just people helping people, right? So this, this is masterclass. This is a masterclass. And there's also a summit strategy or an event strategy. All right. And a summit or an event is more like when you're running like a 3-day event, but it's like it's like full 3 days. It's not just a challenge where maybe you show up for 30 minutes, like each day, or an hour each day for 3 days, and a challenge strategy is a bit more fun and that kind of thing. A summit or an event is like a masterclass on steroids. It's like 3, you might do 3 full days, or even like 1 full day. I've done some one day events before as well. I don't currently do, and I don't particularly have any desire to do, is a better way of putting it, a 3-day event, because why? Because my flavor is burnout. And so me doing a full 3 days and showing up with the energy level and the passion that I do, it currently does not suit my existence. So I tap into, what is me showing up in, in the best way possible that I could, that makes sense for my life and how I want to connect with people. Masterclass, right? But a lot of coaches that I know do run summits, and as I said, I run single day events. I have never run a 3-day event, I don't think. No, but I know a lot of coaches that do, and that's okay. It's just another strategy, that we can help with that. All right. So that is the third piece. And so running these, one, every single month. And if sometimes like, when I came back from how I said I took 2 months out of the front end of my business. I was still in the back end, supporting some clients and stuff like that, but I wasn't in the front end of my business. And I tapered everything back, because I needed to, for my own health for a brief period of time. Anyway, when we came off the back of that, I was like, right, I need a plan, because we've just had although the business is fine, what happens is there's a financial lag. So if the work you do now is going to affect your business over the next 90 days. All right. So having 2 months off, although we have a business cash reserve, we still have money that comes in, week to week, month to month anyway, because that's such is the nature of MRR, this kind of program, and all of those kinds of things. As I said to you, we still didn't sell for the best part of 2 months. And so when we came back, I was like, okay, I need to implement a couple of strategies, and so I think we did over 6 weeks, within a 6-week period of time, we did 2 events, because we just kind of, we bunched it up a little bit more. Within that 6-week period of time was $100,000 cash sales, $100,000 cash sales within 6 weeks. Right? Because we followed a strategy, we showed up, we did the work, we put in the plan, I didn't overly hustle, like I really didn't, because I just couldn't. I was coming off the back of a health, concern and all the rest of it. I couldn't go into like, burnout, overwhelm mode, but we did, do a couple of master classes. We put some offers out there, we did, what we wanted to do and all the rest of it. And that was $100,000 cash sales in under 6 weeks. All right, you guys, it is absolutely possible when you're following a plan, when you are, supported, because these things, if you've never run like what we call a high converting webinar before, or a challenge strategy, or you don't know how to set up a group, you might be able to set up a group, but you might not know how to get people into the community group. And then what the fuck do you say every day and all that kind of stuff, right? You, again, lean into people's geniuses that have done this kind of stuff before, that can then obviously help you and handhold you day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year. all right? Or the least that you can do is just get some advice for where you are at individually. Because I can talk to you guys today, right, from a broader perspective, from a broader perspective. And I can say, look, we're here to talk about a particular business model today, but there's, many ways to skin a cat, all right? And we want to make sure that, that we're taking into consideration, I have to take into consideration that I have a health thing that likes to rear its head on the odd occasion. That is very specific to me and my business and my life. All right. So you might have, 7 children. We might need to take that into consideration, for you in your life. You may be fly in, fly out. We need to take that into consideration. Whatever it is, that's why I say, get specific individualized support and help for you in your business and your life, which could be as simple as a conversation, because we can talk broadly today, but let's have a bit more of a conversation that's a little bit more specific. All righty. So this is, what I was just saying, get the support. Obviously I'm going to sit here and say that, but at the same time, I say that from full integrity. I say that from someone who invests heavily time, energy, and yes, money into my own up leveling. All right. Because how can I be somebody as a coach, because I'm a coach too, how can I be somebody that expects, as I said, vulnerability from my clients if I'm not willing to get vulnerable with them either, to show them that business can be a roller coaster, that it's okay to have a meltdown on the oddest of occasion, that up leveling can sometimes be clunky as fuck. We think up leveling is going to look like this. It doesn't, not always, it's like that swirly line kind of a thing, right? And sometimes we need to borrow somebody else's belief in us when our own belief falters as well. All right, somebody who can handhold us while we do all these different bits and pieces, and when we're like, oh my God, I'm having a meltdown, what the fuck is going on? But it is a co-creation. So, if you are getting support, you've got to show up. And I promise you, whoever you're getting, if you're going to somebody with integrity, they're going to fucking show up for you in spades. All right. And I know I have a bunch of clients here, and I hope that that's what they would say about me, that they would be like, yes, hell yes. I am here for all of the ups and all of the downs, for the whole fucking journey with them all the time, and at the same time, I personally, this might just be me, and you can adopt this as well for yourself in your business. I do not work with people that I do not believe in or that I do not understand. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. I would be in misalignment or out of integrity if I did not work with clients that I truly believed in their magic and their uniqueness and what they bring to this existence and world, because it's not fabricated belief. If a client is having a bit of a meltdown and, in a tough moment, which happens in business, that's okay. They need to borrow my belief in them. All right. And I want that for you guys as well too. Right. And it needs to come from that place of integrity. So this is client KB. She came to me, wanting to scale and grow. Like many of you probably are sitting here now. You're like, I don't know, income ceiling, time ceiling, energy ceiling, right? And so we had a game plan call, and the secret's out. I'm going to be offering you all of that access to myself and my team, off the back of today, to give you some more specific individual advice, with the information you've taken from today, to help you come up with a plan for you, taking into consideration all those extra things as well as your vision, because we're not building, I'm not building an army of little skies out there. I promise you that. I want to help you build out whatever your vision of the future is. All righty. And so Kobe came to me. She wanted to give up her safety job. That was a place that she was at this time. God, we did that within like less than 3 months, and she'd been in that job for years and years and years. We built her product suite, and she runs a 12-week programs, 12-week programs, 4 12-week programs throughout the year. She signs up about 50 to 60 people now for every single one, which is really exciting. The maths on that for what she charges was about, it's just under $150,000 a year for running 4 12-week programs a year with 50 or 60 people joining. All right. All of her clients, were face-to-face, and now she has an arm of her business that means that she can also work really specifically with people online, which is awesome as well. All right, you guys. So it's totally possible and doable for whatever existence in life, that you live. So that's our 3-step online financial success strategy for coaches. All righty. This is our 3 steps, but it does go in this order. All right. So the middle section, number 1, we create that first step by step. Then we do the next bit. Then we do the next bit. All right. Now, I want to introduce you to Sarah. Sarah is an amazing addition to my team this year. I love Sarah. She is an amazing impact coach. Some of you have maybe had the joy of speaking to her, or you've seen her floating around within the Soul Aligned Empire, which is my main program as well. She is absolutely like a growth specialist. So if you are wanting to scale and grow your business in a way it absolutely makes sense, like she is the go-to person to help you come up with a plan that makes sense for you. All righty. And as I said off the back of today, we're giving you that invitation. All right. Literally like a pressure-free invitation to be able to reach out and say, hey, I want some help. My business is not in the greatest place, or I'm feeling burnt out, or I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed, or whatever else it might be, you guys, and I'd like to have a conversation with somebody. All right. And we will line up a conversation with either myself or with Sarah, where we can basically discuss your pathway to success, because yes, this is amazing. And yes, this is a business model that I highly, 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 highly recommend. But there are still abbreviations of this. All right. Like this is what's called like a mentorship model. There is also membership models, and there are also a few other kind of like there's, again, many ways to skin a cat. We want to find a way that is going to suit you. All right. What abbreviation, what version of this is going to make sense in your existence, your life. All right, you guys. And so we want to offer that. Sarah's offered her time over the next week or two in her calendar, to line up those individual calls. Bless her, bless her for making that time available, for you guys, so that if you do want some more specific advice for you and your needs and the existence that you're trying to create. So from that place, we reverse engineer the plan. All right. Because it seems a bit weird. Sometimes we think, oh gosh, we start here and then we put the pieces in place, but actually no, we look at your vision. What the fuck do you want in your existence and your life? And from there, we reverse engineer the plan and put something amazing together for you. All righty. So this has been our 3-step financial success model. All right. Signature program, MRR program, and some kind of a front end, event strategy or lead generation strategy to filter people in. And you stick to the process or the plan, and you become a master, at moving people through, this solution-based product suite. All right. And it's okay if people leave here. That's okay. Bless them for ever joining and being part of our journey. Bless the people up here, who soak in like for a year and then maybe reach out, and anybody who is like, yep, dedicated, ready to take action, wants to go in the journey. Now is the time, and want balls in the game, even if they're still sitting in a little bit of fear, for whatever it is, they still, have enough self-responsibility and prioritize your solution enough to come on that journey with you, and your job is just to show up with integrity, and to hold people as they go through that. So as I said, I did draw the picture because I wanted to show you, earlier on what it actually looks like, because it is event strategy through to signature program, through to MRR, event strategy or filtering people. And there are other ways to filter people through the top end. But remember, we want to pick a fashion, like pick a way that is going to not have you in famine and feast. All right, where we get a strong flow of quality leads coming in all the time. And we want to stick to that plan, and we want to get really fucking good at it. All right. And get really known for it. If people know every single month you're running a 3-day, challenge, like that's really exciting, especially if you're obviously running it, to do with like a hot topic that's relevant to your niche tribe. That is the entire point, right? And they're going to jump on and jump on and jump on, and you're going to make offers. And at some point in time, hopefully they might, take you up on an offer, and that's okay. And if they don't, that's okay too. All righty. So obviously as part of today, and as part of this model, and I gave you the maths before, that running a signature program, charging about $100 a week, running it 4 times a year and having 10 people join each time, And then 4 people, you know, that have joined this each time from the 10, like the conversion rate, the statistics say at least 4 people are then going to join your MRR program. And with those 2 pieces of your business alone, it's like $120,000 or something like that. You know, the maths on those 2 pieces alone. And that's charging low end, high end. All right. You know, solving a problem, you know, like that you get to be the solution for. So what would that additional $100,000 mean to you in your life right now? You know, and what are you willing to do about it? What are you willing to give up? What up leveling are you willing to do? What control, what support are you willing to ask for? You know, what sabotages are you willing to get help with? You know, so that you can move yourself and your business forward now. All right. And get yourself out of overthinking, overwhelm, overcomplicating, you know, overcomplicating business. It really doesn't need to be this hard, right? You know, and finding a solution, you know, calming your nervous system down. It gets to be easy. And money is just a frequency. It is an energy exchange for you solving a problem for somebody else. All righty. So as I said, look, off the back of today, you have this invitation. All right, you guys, well done for everyone. You know, you've stuck it out. I know sometimes I go a little bit over, a little bit. I really just need to say these things are 2 hours. And then when I come under 2 hours, we'll all be pleasantly surprised. Do any of you have any questions at the moment? Or are you like, oh my gosh, you know, all of you know where to find me in Messenger. So if you're like, yes, thank you, that was awesome, let's have a conversation, you know, please, like whether we line something up, you know, even if we just chat in Messenger for now, if you've got some questions, you know, just reach out, you know, let's have a conversation about that. And if it makes sense, you know, like, you know, to jump on the phone with Sarah or myself, like, as we said, we're making her available, like stepping her out of her coach role for a second to jump into, you know, growth specialist and be able to use that, you know, unique part of her genius. Fuck you guys, use and abuse, you know, like why not, while the offer's on the table. That is it from me. Do we have any questions while you guys are here? Or we're like, no, that's amazing, I feel complete, fuck yes to that. Who feels really pumped up? You know, I want you to tell me, you know, what has been your biggest takeaway from today? All right, jump in and let me let me hear from you guys. What has been your biggest takeaway from all of it? It doesn't have to be, you know, just this specific. It could be something else random that I said, you know, throughout the entire experience. But what has been your biggest takeaway, you guys? Like, what does that look like? Type something into the comments for me. Also, if you've got a excuse me, I've got the hiccups apparently. Also, if you've got a question, you can type that in. Awesome, no worries, you're welcome. I want to hear your biggest takeaway, Anne-Marie. You'll have to message it to me later. My biggest takeaway is reverse engineer, yes, to what I need, exactly. We kind of think we're moving this way, but actually we move that way, right? We look at, you know, what's the dream? What do we want our life to look like 1 year from now? And then we reverse engineer the plan. That's a big one, you know, absolutely. And that's exciting because then we get to be all up in our visionary energy, you know, which is a lot of fun because we go, you know, we get to dream. Like I was saying, my client the other week who was like, oh my God, I want to help, you know, women who have survived domestic violence situations and I want to help them get back on their feet. Like that is a dream beyond the dream. Like, yes, she wants to help herself. Yes, she wants to help her family. Yes, she wants to build an amazing business. And then what does that also enable in her life? You know, she's then able to give back to something that she feels really passionate about. Fuck yes to that. That's super exciting. Anything else? What are our biggest ahas? What are our biggest ahas, biggest takeaways from today? Give me 2 more at least, you guys, and then I'll let you go, I swear. Give me something. Who's alive? Who's still with me? Yes, yes. Ivy, Trinity, tell me something amazing. No, you're all asleep. That's it. Screw this. Fine. Trinity's off petting the dogs. I have no idea where Ivy's gone. There we go. I want to grow. I want to grow a group and grow my following. Exactly. Yes. Yeah, I want to grow my group and grow my following. Super like important. You know, we need to have some visibility, and there's definitely some strategies that you can implement in terms of visibility, you know, and it doesn't even have to be that much. Again, you know, to use my example, my community group has about 1,400 people in it. And from that 1,400 people, and bless them, from my service of that 1,400 people, I don't serve all of them, you know, but that community group has made hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years. All right. And 1,400 is really small for a community group, but we've got to start somewhere. And, you know, I have key kind of people in there, but if you have 500, if you start with 50, you know, let's build from there. So some other ones were tweak my MRR, tweak me MRR, us needed. I have no idea. Oh my God, tweak my MRR. Yes, that's what I thought. Excellent. Yes, reverse engineer the plan as well. Awesome, you guys. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Love that for everyone. All right. End, apparently I didn't even mean to do that. End, we are done. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I hope you've taken a lot from it. And obviously, you know, for anybody watching back, hi, how you going? You know, reach out if you know, if you want to line up a call, you know, again, like just to, you know, just to help us map out your individual plan to success and how you're going to be able to monetize that, so we can help you make the tweaks that you need for your business and your life, because we don't want there to be any cookie cutters, although we are showing you, you know, a particular model that really, really works. All right. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Bye. Bye, bye, bye. You're welcome. You're welcome.